All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Axle1324, and I am joined by Halo Lore Master, Lethal Terminus. What's up, Lethal?
Hey, how's it going, Axel? Thanks for
It's
having me.
going, sir. All right. Episode 4 has come and gone. This camera is not set up right. Sorry, guys. I'm redoing my streaming room, so it's kind of trashy, but back here, ignore all that, okay? So yeah, episode 4 in the books, Lethal. And not really an action heavy episode, and I kind of feel like the editing was not very well done in this episode, in my opinion. But I feel that this is definitely an episode that was necessary for the sake of the story. What do you think?
Yeah, like you said, not a very action-filled episode, but I know that they're building up to something good, and just based on the still screenshots that they've shown from episode 5, it's going to be really good from what it seems. So, yeah, it's kind of a necessary one of those things where, not as much action as we would have liked, but it'll pay off once we get something better in the next few episodes.
Definitely. So let's get right into it, right? Here we go. So we start off opening scene of the children soldiers doing some sort of running, and we get to see all of their child characters, Kai and Soren, and of course John 117 here, this played by this young actor here. And over there, I can't hear you, Spartans. They're over there, everybody's yelling except John, which I kind of found to be kind of weird that John is the only one not yelling. And then it moves into Dr. Halsey, if I believe. Yeah, it moves into him, a pic of him and Dr. Halsey talking about him basically trying to run away again. What did you make of this scene?
As for him not yelling, I guess they're trying to portray that he's very egotistical, I guess, because he was egotistical at that age in like the books and stuff, and that they're overconfident, I guess, that he doesn't have to kind of follow what the rest of the crowd does because he's just that good. I think that's what it is, and yeah.
All right. And what about this whole thing about him trying to run away back home? Now, I can imagine that that's an actual thing that happened. If I was a kid, conscripted and stolen from my parents, I would try to go back home.
Yeah,
what about you?
Oh yeah, I would absolutely. I don't think they really touched on that in the books or anything, but I get it. They're trying to portray the the human side of it.
Absolutely. And real quick, shout out to my wife, Luis Vian, saying good vibes emoji. Let me see what it looks like in the YouTube chat. Let me pull up YouTube. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's an emoji just waving. Hey, thank you so much to my lovely wife, my biggest fan in the world. Definitely love you so much for all your support and everything you do. All right, so let's move on to the next scene. So they're talking, and it cuts to them being in slip space, and there's a lot of sub dialogue about John and what he's feeling and what his brain activity is like. And he's over there, just Cortana talks to him, and he says it feels different. And then, Cortana being Cortana reads his biometrics, and he's in essence experiencing anxiety, but he doesn't know what that feels like. And I love this scene. It's like, is this what anxious feels like? And she goes, technically, because obviously Cortana doesn't know what anxious feels like for real. So I kind of enjoyed that little, again, that little Cortana humor, if you will. What do you think of this scene?
Yeah, so Chief is experiencing a lot of new things for the first time, and he doesn't know what some of these things are. So again, it's one of those things where he's anxious, but he doesn't know what it is. He never experienced it before. So all these things that they've been kind of building up on his adding on to all these new emotions that he's taking in. And I like that.
Yeah, and it's almost like childlike, like discovering that you can feel. You know what I mean?
And all these
It's a little
experiences,
weird,
both good
but
and bad.
I guess it works. All right, here we go. Now, of course, I cut this scene out a little earlier because you can't show the cheeks on YouTube. But here we go. Here is Spartan Kai, and she is basically removed her emotion suppressor like Chief did. Now, what did you make about this copycat scene, if you will?
Yeah, I believe it was one of the last episodes where we saw Kai pretty much spying on Chief, kind of
Yeah.
awkward, but yeah, where she was seeing what he was doing, and I guess that she kind of wanted to feel that too, kind of experience what it is. So it's kind of a lead on scene, but I like it. Just it's not just Chief doing this. Others can too, and it's kind of now it's Kai and John. Then you got
Mhm.
Vanek and the other one, Riz. Yeah, Riz
Yeah.
that are still just the actual Spartans how they should be. So it's kind of those opposite effect essentially. So
Yeah, I think so. But I want to also point out this difference, though. She's doing it because Chief did it. More curiosity than anything. Whereas I believe that Chief did it so that he could connect to the visions he was having. More mission focused reason, if you will.
absolutely.
Yeah. And real quick, Lito, what do you think of them cheeks?
Well, this is the one I prefer a little more. So
Right? All right. And yeah, so the Halo show is giving us lots of cheeks, guys. Lots of booty cheeks. All right. And here we go, man. So this is basically a mirror of the Halo Infinite cover and the Halo Infinite artwork. And it is the holding of the helmet next to the thigh of Master Chief. And he did this in the show. And I thought this was just a really cool scene. What did you think about the show putting this in?
yeah, I noticed that mirror effect. I like it. Some of these hints to things of the past in Halo, and I thought it was a nice touch. I did.
Yeah, I feel like it's a nice Easter egg, kind of like acknowledgement to Halo Infinite.
Oh yeah.
And my wife goes, I prefer the male cheeks. I certainly hope so. Yeah. But, wife, I prefer your cheeks the most. Let's see. Let's move it along again. All right. So we cut back to Soren and Quan. There we go. Quan land on Madrigal, and Quan is just looking for anybody from the rebellion. She runs into this young man. His name started with a T, I believe. Tilo, something like that.
Yeah, I forget.
And he doesn't want to be around her at all. Like, he does not want to be around her. He's concerned for his safety, obviously. And whereas Quan is just trying to find the rest of the resistance this, the resistance that. And he basically wants nothing to do with it. He just wants to be done and over with, doesn't want to be around her because she's obviously got a big bounty on her. And, one of those, if you remember, what's the governor's name? Governor Venture. There we go. Governor Venture. He kind of has an iron fist style, right? So I would imagine that you're guilty by association. So he doesn't want to be around her. And Quan is over there just yelling and not paying attention to Soren, just doing whatever she wants. Just completely annoying, in my opinion. Like, the more I see about Quan, the more happy I am that I don't have children. Just flat out. What do you think of Quan's character development and the way she's handling things?
Yeah, that is great. I get where you're coming from for sure, and I get where he's coming from too because he's obviously met her before, so he knows how she's like, and she has a bounty on her head, and he knows that she is very invasive. I'm going to call her invasive, intrusive, all that stuff. So he needs to get away as fast as he can.
As far and as fast as he can. Run, boy, run. All right, here we go. Next scene. And by the way, in general, chat, I am finding the whole Quan side story completely uninteresting right now. Like, I don't know. I'm just completely uninterested in her side story and her struggle. Are you buying into the Quan side story?
Not really. She's annoying.
Yeah, annoying, right? Yeah. All right, now we get back to Kai, and she is cleaning her rifle as all good soldiers do, and she sees the red grease. And I don't know if she uses the red grease to dye her hair or if she went and bought some hair dye, but she dyes her hair in kind of a crazy way. And yeah, what do you think about that? Like somebody's just cleaning the rifle and suddenly they feel the urge to dye their hair.
I guess it's one of those things, she wants to experiment with really anything she can. So I guess changing up her hairstyle, kind of getting creative with it, is one way to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's never really explained in the beginning why she's doing it. All right, I love this scene. So this is Miranda Keys. I don't think she's a captain yet, right? She's
No,
definitely
she's
not
a
a captain.
doctor.
So there's Miranda Keys, and it's her first time interacting with Spartans directly, I believe. And the Spartans walk in very professional like, and they're very imposing, if you will. And her first words when she gets to see them is like, wow, like just taken aback at the, I'm going to say just how, what's the word I'm looking for? How imposing a Spartan can be in front of your face. And of course, they're going to do some experiments. But what do you think of this walk-on scene?
Well, yeah, I think it's just like you said. She's that imposing vibe that they give off, and it's new interaction for her. But yeah, we can see that Kai is kind of a different, just what she's doing or what she's gonna do later in some of these later scenes.
Exactly. I wanted to point this out. So these two Spartans, Venick and which one is
Riz.
this one? Riz, are in parade rest, totally professional. And here is Kai, just hands down.
She's just staring right at her.
Staring right at her, dirtbag style. If we had these people in the military, and this is what I call it, dirtbag style. They know what they're supposed to do. They choose not to do it, and it just shows a lack of discipline, in my opinion. So, yeah. So here she is in dirtbag mode, talking, giving opinions. And then we cut back to the chief. And through, I guess, just visual and remembering and like, oh, my mom could see me and all this other stuff, they start digging. They pull this out. And it's all his drawings. What did you make of this scene here, of the drawings, of the digging scene, I guess?
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff. Pretty much just the big artifact, small one, I think, and the ring as well. Yeah. So the ring obviously plays a big part in some of these drawings based on what he saw and what he experienced from this.
Exactly. And so I also wanted to point this out, this clip they got going on here. So my document clips, they look like this, right? The solid pieces with the document clipping on it. But I guess in the future, they don't need solid pieces. Wire clips are just as good. I don't know why that fascinated me, but I work in an office. I use a lot of these document clips, and I'm like, would that even work for what I have? And I'm like, I don't think it would. But hey, got to make it look sci-fi. Even your paper clips got to look sci-fi. So attention to detail, I can kind of appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, and once again, we cut to Madrigal. So she is at a memorial service for her father. Tell me what you thought about this this entire father funeral scene.
I mean, I get where she's coming from. If she's one thing, she's how should I say, motivated. She's very motivated, and she's very passionate about the resistance. Obviously, since she was the daughter of the leader of the resistance, and
Right.
it says right there, "This is all my father gets."
Yeah.
It's she's disappointed. It does come off as annoying because it is, but I understand where she's coming from.
I
Her father was a very important figure, and it's not what she was expecting.
I feel that, because she grew up in the rebellion, she grew up with all of the everybody basically doing hero worship to her dad, right? And I think she's disillusioned by the reality of it. That rebellions are not nice, you know, and
Yeah,
sometimes they don't have the support that you believe they do.
yeah, absolutely.
And she runs into who I believe is told to us is her father's best friend. And she tries to explain to her that all the people want now is protection from the Covenant after that attack, because basically one outpost was taken out in a matter of minutes by the Covenant, with the Covenant having 0 losses. So yeah. Hold on real quick. Hey, shout out to Lady Luna. Hello guys. Hello. Thank you so much for stopping by, Mom. Appreciate you. And then this person keeps on talking, and she kind of drops a little conspiracy theory here, saying that this person sold out all her dad's generals. What do you think about this interaction between Juan and this lady?
So I think the thing about the Covenant is interesting, where all these civilians want, and just rebels want protection from the Covenant. I don't think we ever saw the civilians talk about the Covenant really in any of the books, but I know that some of the militaristic rebels actually did try to bargain with the Covenants, and they did kind of work together, but it's not obviously optimal, nor did it really turn out well. But see, when things get as desperate as it seems to be for the people of Magical, it doesn't matter at that point. They just want something different, and if different is Covenants, they don't care at that point. They're at an all-time low.
Yeah. And so, what do you think of the conspiracy theory she came up with? Do you think it holds any water? Do you think it makes sense?
I think it could, because
It's very
she's.
it's very
I think she
convincing.
said she's one of the only generals or something. One
I
of the
don't
only
think she was a
generals left.
general. I think she was just like her dad's best advisor or something like that.
Maybe I don't quite remember, but I think it could hold merit for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's very intrusive, but very I don't know, assuming, I guess, but I think it could hold weight, especially with the look on her face right afterwards. Kind of like, you need to get out of here.
Right. Now, of course, the rebellion gathering, the admirers of her father, got attacked by not deadly weapons, but those imprisonment weapons that apparently the UNSC tends to use. They got attacked by it, and it looks like a nice supporter roundup, which would make sense if you're trying to crush a rebellion. You got to take everybody. Now, in my opinion, it doesn't do a very good job of implying if they came because Kai was there, or not Kai, sorry, because Quan was there, or because these were just a bunch of her dad's fans, I guess, supporters. Why do you think they came to break up this party? Do you think it was Quan or the supporters?
Well, you're right about that, where they didn't explain it very well. But I was wondering that myself. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why.
All right. Hey, shout out to my brother, Ronnie. Hello. Thank you so much for joining in. I actually think this is one of my nephews. This might be Raphael.
Oh no.
So, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I actually rewatched this episode, and I think that the reason these guys got rounded up is for being supporters. You rebel rousers, right? And I'll tell you why here in a minute, right? So we cut back to Reach. They're going to do the test using Kai now. And Keys here notices Kai's hair. And she's shocked by it because I don't think they're allowed to dye their hair. What do you think on this one? Now, I'll take that. If it's anything like the U.S. military, I know for a fact they're not allowed to dye their hair crazy colors like this.
Right.
All solid colors only.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I think after she saw this, there's no doubt in her mind that Kai is an odd one out for sure. You know, from the very start, you could see the subtle hints that she wasn't, doing exactly as what was expected from a Spartan. You know, and all that. So, yeah, you could tell she's kind of catching on for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Let's interact with the chat. So my wife says that it was Ronnie who's watching, but it's like, no, it's me, Rafael. and now we don't know who it really is because I know Ronnie, he likes to joke around. So yeah, oh man. Well, either way, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. So she kind of goes out of character. She lets out an emotional outburst. Doesn't wait to do what she's told. She just reaches out and touches this. This is all very impulsive style and very rebellious style as well. You know, like, don't tell me what to do. And then the attitude as well when she's done. Will that be all? What did you think? I just hold on before you go with that. I just if there was ever somebody that needed that emotion suppressor, I believe it's Kai. What do you think, Tito?
Well, I think that she's there to kind of maybe say without restriction from the pellets what she's thinking, maybe on behalf of the other Spartans, because maybe the other Spartans are kind of thinking the same thing she's thinking. You know, you don't care for us. You just see us as tools, pretty much. And with her pellet gun, she could actually say all that stuff, and because she's experienced all these things for the first time, so she kind of has her chance now to say what she's been feeling, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, it's very interesting interaction. We cut back to Madrigal, and Chief is in his house, his childhood home that is in his vision, and he wants Cortana to make a digital reconstruction of what the house used to look like, maybe to jog his memory better, of course, with the intention. And she says that she can create a realistic facsimile of the environment in his helmet. And he puts the helmet on, or before he puts the helmet on, Dr. Keys gives him the warning, hey, some of the things you see may not be real life. Of course, Dr. Keys, sorry. Dr. Halsey is, of course, looking out for numero uno herself. And what did you think about the little snippet here of Dr. Halsey, basically priming John to say, not everything you see is going to be real?
Well, I get where she's coming from, for sure, because if there's one thing she knows that John is very dangerous, especially because he's more unpredictable with what he's seeing, all these emotions that he's feeling, and all these things that he's going to rediscover. And she's basically just trying to kind of downplay it, I guess, kind of, everything you see is, real events, really. And, just be careful, pretty much, and all that stuff.
Exactly. And then here comes the reconstruction, and I kind of just like the way this looked, so I just put this on. Shout out again to the special effects team. They're doing a fantastic job. It definitely looks high end, high budget. What do you think of the way this looks?
It looks cool. I like how they did it for sure. That kind of, how it is now and how it was.
Yeah, I definitely think they did a really good job. And of course, eventually, John remembers touching the artifact and where he went to touch it. And he at this point, Cortana's not projecting anything into his helmet. John is just basically reenacting a memory. Now I'm not a sociology guy or a psychology guy. Do you think this is just a strong emotional response of some kind to reenact a memory from your childhood?
That's what I think it exactly is. Pretty much, I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. If anybody knows anything about the human psyche, let me know. I have never personally done this that I can remember. Reenacting a memory. Have you ever seen or experienced anybody to do this?
No, not from my knowledge. Not really.
Yeah, me either. But they say that fiction is a reflection of real life, just exaggerated. So I'm wondering if this actually happens. And of course, Cortana's here again. Love the look of Cortana. This actress is perfect fit. I'm all in on her, on the way she looks now. All these concerns that everybody was trying to give us about the way Cortana looks and all this blah 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 crap out the window. Shut your mouth. The Cortana looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was just a specific still shot, not still shot, the specific scene they chose that kind of gave off those opinions. But in other scenes, it's definitely a lot better, it seems. So.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. And once again, like we said, whatever he's seeing, it isn't coming from me. Right. And real quick, shout out to the chat again. Julie Susante, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you supporting the show. Thank you so much. And that is my wife's mother. So, hey, my whole family is here to support. Much love to my family. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you. Termagasi. Termagasi. Okay, here we go. And John, remember seeing Dr. Halsey playing the coin game with him. Now, the coin game is canon. Is that correct?
Yes, the coin game is canon.
That's right. The little coin flipping game is canon because not only can he calculate quickly and make a decision quickly, but he also has luck, which are all attributes Dr. Halsey was hoping for. So here's a much younger Dr. Halsey with longer hair. So shout out to this actress playing herself in the current, herself younger, and playing Cortana. That's some acting range.
No, it is.
So yeah, he remembers himself playing the coin game, and this was shortly before he was conscripted. What did you think about seeing the coin game, the much loved coin game in the lore?
Well, I think it's good they chose to show it for sure. I think it's especially if they're going to show the past like this, John's past. The coin game was definitely something that Halsey chose to kind of test his abilities. So it's definitely necessary, kind of, to to show the features that she wanted.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it all. This was, whenever as a Halo fan, whenever you see some of the things you read about, some of the things you get some of those intel drops on that we used to get on loot boxes, and seeing something like the coin game, that's really it really hits the Halo feels. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
Lethal?
sounds great.
Yeah. All right, and then we get back again, more Kai scenes. Now, once again, at parade rest, straightforward. At parade rest, looking at the body, but still at parade rest, and just walking around completely undisciplined. Making me sad. Making me sad. All that training for nothing, Kai. So what did you think of this scene? Like, not only is she walking around, not at parade rest, she's touching stuff. She touches the needler. Even after she's told to put it down, she doesn't. Very un-Spartan-like. What do you think is happening here?
Okay, well, first of all, it's very wrinkly elites. I don't know. It's well, I know he's dead, but that's just the first thing that caught my eye when I saw this. But yeah, again, you could tell that Kai is seeing things in a new light, pretty much, and I guess that's why she's just going off tangent and not doing what's expected of a Spartan. It's blatantly obvious at this point. Yeah. And I like it, though, because there's some good parts that come from it, and some scenes here in the very right after this, pretty much.
Right. And yeah, let's talk about this body. Now, obviously, this body is decaying, it's dying. So, yeah, you're right. It is a very wrinkly body for an elite. Maybe this elite had some sort of elite disease, maybe some pimples, some acne or something. Because in all the drawings I've ever seen, they're pretty reptilian style skin. I don't know. I've never had a reptile pet, so maybe their skin does get like this. I'm unsure. So yeah, completely lost on that one. Good observation, Lethal. Good call out. Yeah, and so she grabs the needler. You know, they describe the way the needler handles, and they're talking about how awesome the Covenant tech is, and you know, they talk about a word, and that word being kepos, and they don't know what it means. You know, and they kind of make fun of it, like in their own little Spartan ways. They're like, "Oh, we think it might mean, you know, oh crap, I'm about to die," and Vanek is just like, that's also true. I love that little Spartan arrogance they got, especially Vanek. Like, I got to tell you, man, I am becoming a fan of this Spartan right here. Screw Locke. This is the Spartan you needed right here.
Fair enough. I can get on board with that.
Well, what do you think of this this Kepo scene?
I like the back and forth, you know, even though it's just small things, the experiences that Spartans have and the opinions they have on the battlefield of certain things, you know, such as the word that the Sangili use once they turn the needler against them.
Right. Oh, and my wife corrects me as always. You had a reptile a pet chameleon. Yes, you are correct, my wife. I totally forgot about my pet chameleon, but yeah, you know, chameleon skin does not look like that. I was just wondering, maybe more someone who had a different reptile, maybe a reptile that got old. Because my little poor baby chameleon got a flu and he died at 4 years old. So yeah, that chameleon was spoiled like heck too. I don't know how dare he get sick. But yeah, all right, back on topic. Yeah, the back and forth, the banter back and forth, explaining how the weapon works and how the Covenant sounds when they get killed by it. You know, all that stuff. And of course, Dr. Keys has heard this word obviously before, and she just now is asking them, of course, you guys have spent the most time around the Covenant. What other words have you heard? And I'm just thinking to myself, as if, are you kidding me? This is like military intelligence 101. Get intelligence from the people who are there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so the show, I think this was added just out of dramatic effect. But yeah, I can see why we were losing the war. Failure to share information. What do you think of this a whole like epiphany scene?
Yeah, just not checking all their boxes is what I just see it as. But yeah, it's kind of like the touch where, you know, the Spartans going back and forth. She pays them no mind. They say one word. She's like, "What do you say? Say it again." You know, she just sees them kind of like as tools, which I guess she's doing her job. But it's kind of just one of those things. She's just all business, and Kai's not all business anymore. The Spartans are all business too, but they can joke back and forth as well in their own way.
Definitely. All right, and here we go. Boo! Another cheek scene. This time from Vinchner. He's in his private bath that's like a size of a swimming pool. It has chairs inside of it and all kinds of neat stuff. And he's talking to an assassin named Franco. Now, is Franco part of... Do I have a picture of Franco? No, I don't. Is Franco part of the lore?
Not that I can recall.
All right. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here while I pull something up. And thanks to our good friend Xbox Superfan in Halo Bear Ass Bingo, we've seen John, we've seen Vishner, we've seen the Blessed One, and we've seen Kai. So we got 4 out of the characters who have shown us their bottom so far. Nowhere close to a bingo yet, but do you think we will reach a bingo on the Cheeks episode here? Whose Cheeks do you think is up next?
Okay, well, This caught me off guard. I was not expecting this, but I'll tell you something. This is funny. This is funny.
Right?
I like this a lot. So, who made this?
This is a John Snow 117 or Xbox Superfan.
Okay, props to him. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Great work to him. I thought about doing this, but he actually did it, so kudos to him. I definitely think we'll end up seeing probably his butt when he dies, because I have a feeling he's going to die. Probably the rest of the Spartans' butts, just because it is what it is. They seem to be showing a lot of Spartan booty. We're definitely not going to see his butt. I don't think we're going to see this character ever again.
Yeah, hopefully not.
And her as well. I definitely don't think we're going to see her ever again as well.
Yeah, no thanks.
So, yeah, I don't know if we're... So, I think if we get all these Spartans here, let's just pretend we got all the Spartans. We can get a bingo by seeing Dr. Halsey's cheeks sometime in the show, but I don't think we're going to.
Yeah, I don't think so, but...
All right. So, yeah, there we go. The game of Cheeks Bingo continues next week. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really hilarious when I saw it. I had to share it, Lethal.
It's phenomenal.
All right. So he's over here. So rewinding a little bit. So you remember when I asked if you believe that this crackdown was because Quan was back? And the reason I said no, I think they were just gathering up the remainder of the supporters, is because of this scene happening so much later. And this is when he finally notices that Quan is here. And he finally notices that Soren is here. So I think that the reason they cracked down on him was because, well, they were just supporters. But now he sees how much of a rabble rouser Quan can be. So yeah, just going back to that. That's the only reason I brought the Cheeks episode up. Oh, and also for the bingo. Do you have anything about this?
Well, I get your point about the rabble rouser for sure, because I'm not sure, maybe just pre-anticipated, like if Quan returns, then this could be bad news. So yeah, let's squash this now before it gets into anything, worth trouble.
Absolutely. Let's pause real quick. Eddie Wijaya is here. That is my father-in-law. Thank you so much for supporting, Dad. Appreciate you. Yeah, so the rabble rouser, and I love this part where one more thing, she seems to have a bodyguard, Soren, and she recognizes the name Soren the Pirate, they call him, right? So shout out to Soren for carving out a name for himself. He's famous.
Oh yeah.
And I love this scene right here. Soren is getting to they're gonna go visit their aunt. They will just try to walk into the aunt. They get it basically pushed back. A fight breaks out, and Soren just basically takes everybody to the ground as expected. And I just really like the way this scene played out, because he pulls this gun, cocks it, and points it all in like a really nice motion to just show you just how deadly he is. Still, even though he probably removed some augmentations, I think he left some in. What do you think?
He's got some of that Spartan blood still in him. He's fast, strong, efficient, accurate.
Yes.
All traits of Spartan, pretty much. And apparently that gun that he's holding is like some not future, but a real gun you could buy that's supposed to look futuristic. Thought that was cool.
Oh, I did not know that. So thank you so much for that. So Sujin is Quan's aunt, but then we cut away because she says, "Follow me, not here. Let's go somewhere else." Cut back. And here the Spartans are talking about the kill your pet training. Now, I have heard of this in real life as well. I've read about this in I'm going to call them kind of biography style books, where people are recalling their military training and stuff of the old days. So this is a way to basically make people into cold-blooded killers, from what I understand. Take care of your pet, and then you have to kill your pet. So, yeah, what did you think of this story, the kill your pet story?
Well, I liked it. I think it teaches a very good lesson to the Spartans, for sure, that you can't grow attached to anybody. at all, because if you have any kinds of feelings of any kind, it's just going to hold you back. It's going to weigh you down. You're not going to complete the mission like how you should. So I think it's a very efficient lesson, if nothing else. Glad they added it in.
Absolutely. Do you think you could do this? Do you think you could pull this up? Raise an animal, and then when your commander tells you to eliminate your animal, do you think you could?
It'd be very difficult, especially if the bond is strong, but I don't know.
I am such an animal lover. I don't think I could. Like, in general, I just love animals. And I get that we have to kill animals to eat all that stuff. I enjoy a hamburger just as much as everybody else, right? But I don't know. Like, I didn't grow up with that, kind of knowledge that, hey, this is livestock. I grew up with pets, right? Not livestock. So if it was livestock, I feel I could do it. But pets, I feel like I couldn't do it. That's just my personal take on this one. All right, and then we're back to Madrigal. And we just round around in a circle we went in this episode, guys. And she's over here talking to John because he told her that he saw her. And, he had that memory of the coin game. He talks to her and she said, like, oh, I'm concerned for your mental health because now you're having visions even when you're not in presence of the artifact. We got to get you home. Basically, time to put that emotion chip back in and erase more memories. What do you think? Do you think she's concerned about his combat efficiency or about his remembering?
I think she's concerned about him remembering because it doesn't really matter his combat efficiency. His combat efficiency is fine if he turns hostile towards her because these memories unlock something that he really didn't like. So it's absolutely just, you need to get back to the ship. We need to forget this. You got all the information you need. Let's go back.
Yeah. And she keeps saying, we can study the drawings. We can study the drawings. She keeps bringing up the drawings, right? All right. Over to Madrigal again. I'm sorry. I don't know what planet this was. Over to Madrigal again. And she basically tells him that they're out of money. They can't fund the rebellion anymore because her dad spent it all. And tells him about some mystics in the desert. And when she's trying to get where the mystics are, she's attacked by Franco, the assassin. And Franco, the assassin, for some reason, slowed down her assassination to exchange some dialogue for absolutely no reason, in my opinion. This is what I hate about writing bad guys. Like, bad guys in real life, I don't think, stop their murderous tirade to have conversations, in my opinion.
Yeah, they just get the job done.
Yeah, especially an assassin for hire. Like, I don't think an assassin would want to trade any dialogue with their target.
Yeah, not at all.
But, of course, she's saved by Soren. Street fight ensues, and I love this scene here. Soren puts on the desert helmet. It's certainly not a Spartan helmet, but it provides some protection, I guess. And, yeah. I think he looks kind of a little ridiculous with the bucket helmet, as I called it.
Yeah, he looks very dirty.
But kudos to this actor for trying to make it look cool,
He tried the best.
That's right. And they run away, basically, from the fight. We cut back to basically what is a long exposition of I want to keep calling her Captain Keys, but she's just Lieutenant Keys, maybe Lieutenant Commander Keys. I have no idea what she is right here. Dr. Keys. I guess I'll just call her Dr. Keys. Yeah. And it's this long exposition and exchange of Kai and Keys talking about her dyeing her hair and her rebellion, but then Keys goes on this long exposition explaining how Dr. Halsey is and basically what her goals are, what her motivations are, and none of them are in your favor, Kai. None of them. What'd you think of this?
Okay, well, first of all, Kai's face there is very creepy and it's hysterical to me. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think she looks kind of goofy there in a good way. But
I feel like they purposely did this. Not to interrupt, Lethal, but I want to piggyback off what you just said. I feel like they kind of did this to show that she's kind of gonna have some sort of mental breakdown, some sort of episode of psychosis. Where maybe she becomes a murderous Spartan. Who knows? Without that emotion ship to suppress those feelings, all of them are coming out, and she doesn't know how to deal with them. And I feel like this scene maybe is setting up for that dark secret that she has inside her, that dark personality.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can get behind that.
That's the vibe I got. I'm sorry. Keep going about the scene.
Yeah. Like I was going to say, small act of rebellion. With this Pelagon, she can kind of, I guess, be a little more free in her own way. She's still UNSC, but she's free in her own way. And I think any way she can, she wants to experience that. Any kind of way she can get that. So, again, I understand why she's obviously very happy there in a certain way in her own. She wants to kind of put it into Halsey. And
right.
Yeah, about what Keyes said too, Dr. Keyes, about Halsey likes to control her Spartans pretty much. And yeah, we can tell that's most definitely the case because Halsey did not want Chief to be going on his own like that. So it's just one of those things. It's all about control.
Absolutely. And, as they're discovering things, they see the video and they're talking about it. Then she's like, I have secret ring. And she goes, Halo. And anytime they mention the first time, especially that they mention the title of the book or the TV show that you're watching or the movie, I feel that it's a really important moment in the storytelling. So this is the first time anybody said Halo in the series. So I really enjoy that first moment of this. What do you think?
I liked it too. Like you said, the first time they say the word, the title of the book or movie, it's definitely leading up towards something. So I do think that it's setting up for what's to come for sure. Future episodes.
Absolutely. And then, she talks about them making decisions. I love, like I said, Keyes goes on this long exposition, and it does a lot of very unique cuts. So when she's talking about making decisions based on emotion and passion, it cuts to Quan, which is exactly how I feel. Just a teenager who is all rage and no wisdom. Do you agree with that statement there, Lethal?
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, and the cut to Quan definitely shows exactly what Keyes is trying to say. Fits perfectly to it.
Right. And then, it keeps going about how Dr. Halsey is going to cut everything out of. She has a tendency to cut people. Yeah, here we go. Cutting has a way of cutting them, like hurting them. And, it comes to John. Obviously, these Spartans experience very traumatic effects to become Spartans. They sacrificed basically themselves for the sake of Dr. Halsey's experiment. But fortunately for us as humans in the future, they were the only effective weapon. And I also really enjoyed this shot of Master Chief. I feel that this shot, the lighting, the look, everything was just epic. I just really enjoyed this shot. Anything from you, Lethal?
Yeah, again, I agree with everything you said. I don't have too much more to add than that, but I will agree with the shot is very good for sure. Did a good job with that.
Absolutely. Love it. And then here's the larger artifact. All right. So this is what I actually really want to talk about here. So now we've seen two pieces of this artifact. We have the keystone in Outreach. They're probably going to retrieve this, whatever it is. What do you think this artifact is? Is the keystone in the lore? Is there a mating part to it? Anything like that you are aware of, Lethal?
No, not that I'm aware of, but I will tell you one of my theories.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's hear it.
I think I said this in the last one, but I do think that they are going to combine these two artifacts. It definitely seems they go together. Mm-hmm. So I think they will combine these two artifacts, and that is what will lead them to Halo.
So you think the keystone is in a way what happened in Halo Spartan Ops? That was the
Like the
Janus key,
key.
almost.
Yeah. I think that might be what they're trying to do here, especially with the symbols they're shown for the artifact, and of course, the build up to the eventual Halo ring that we get to see. I think that's definitely what this is, a map kind of to Halo.
Right. And here's a much better look of it. And it's still going on about Dr. Halsey, how she's never going to give up in her pursuit for perfection, which the artifacts, the Forerunner artifacts, are definitely part of her. Dr. Halsey definitely has a unique understanding of them, if I'm correct on that, Lethal.
In lore, she does have a very unique understanding, but in this one, she doesn't, because this was like some of her first encounters with it.
Right. So we'll see if Dr. Halsey becomes the artifact expert that she is currently in the books and in the games. And here I love this one, how she doesn't tolerate glitches, and it zooms into this back of the helmet where the Cortana chip should go in the show or in the game, but not here. But it keeps going up in there. And basically the episode ends on those words. What do you think about those words that ends? And she doesn't tolerate glitches.
Yeah, Hopefully wants everything in her own image. And if there's anything that is not in her image, she's going to find some way, probably unethical, to fix it. Or illegal, I should say, not just unethical. But
all right. So after what was, in my opinion, one of the most cut-heavy episodes, what would you rate the episode?
Give it like 78.
78. I'm gonna go kind of a lot lower. I'm a Halo guy, but oh my god,
I was being generous there.
Yeah, I'm gonna surprise you with my score on this one. I'm giving this one a nice, well-deserved 65, because I mean, look at this. It just let me go over here. Like, look at how many cuts it had between everything. I mean, there is no continuity to it, and if they're like, it just cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts every time you were getting into a good part, cut to another scene, into a good part, cut to another scene, into a good part, cut back to the other scene. I mean, it's just cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts, telling three stories in a cut heavy way. I did not enjoy that at all. I enjoyed the stories they were telling it. I just did not enjoy the way they were telling it. And yeah, so because of the way they told it, I'm giving it a 65. Me.
Fair enough. Yeah. The cuts didn't bother me too much, I'd say, but I do know where you're coming from for sure. For me, it was just, again, I get it. They have to do these things to kind of build up towards things, but I don't know, more action here and there would be nice, even if it's just a little something, or Chief just putting his helmet on and not taking it off after 2 seconds.
Yeah, everybody's talking about that. Like, I don't know. I feel that I like the actor. I totally get it. The actor wants to be known as the Master Chief, that he is Master Chief. Okay, we seen your face. We got it. Put the helmet on. Leave it on.
Yeah, just put it on.
Just put the helmet back on, man. Not only that, but also in the show, they need to put the pants on and keep them on.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of booty obsession amongst these directors of these episodes. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave you guys. Lethal, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Lethal Space Terminus on Xbox and at Lethal Terminus on Twitter.
All right. And as always, you can find me here on my YouTube channel and Twitch, Axle1324 Gaming. You can also find me on Xbox and on Twitter, just Axle1324. That's going to do it for today's show, everybody. We'll catch you guys this Sunday now that it's not a Easter holiday. We'll catch you this Sunday when we go over what we thought about episode 5, which airs tomorrow. So we will catch you guys this Sunday. Bye, everybody.